Hello, and welcome to the first of this two-shot of Pressure, which is subtitled Industrial Science Fiction Role-Playing. This is a new game from Osprey Role-Playing. They've done a lot of things, a lot of sort of one-off games. This is by Jonathan Hicks, and it is a sequel to another game that he had done with Osprey called Those Dark Places. That earlier one is sort of inspired by Alien, by Outland, by Dark Star. It's in that vein of people getting in over their heads, civvies getting trapped in bad places, kind of thing. This sort of sequel to that, Pressure, is a little more Aliens, is a little more Dead Space, is a little more characters have some competency versus the earlier characters. You are part of what are called SOS teams heading into bad situations. This is a game of a world which is highly corporatized. There have been conflicts and battles between the different corporations, but it is one of those still classic. This is a human verse. There are no aliens supposedly that are out there. There may be creatures and things like that. So that's the kind of the baseline that we are dealing with. We have our groups are effectively private military contractors for the various corporations, and we're picturing that. So we've got very much metal, industrial ships. We've got what are called SAMs, which are our androids that can't really fight except for hand to hand. They exist there as a thing. We're going to be setting all of that up in a minute. My name is Lowell. He now remembered to say pronouns he, him. And this session is part of Open Hearth Gaming, which is an online gaming club slash community. You can find out more about that at openhearthgaming.com. We are going to be doing the character creation, a little bit of introduction, some questions to kind of set that up before we get to the actual mission itself. And we'll kind of set some things up in terms of what the world looks like as we do that. So character creation works like this. If we go to our character keeper, it's pretty simple. We're going to come back to that in a moment to kind of talk about the specifics of it, but I'm still kind of on my cats here. We're going to do character creation, make a few choices. There aren't that many. Get that set and then head in. I am going to, and this is part of our approach, everyone is going to have a loose roll, basically that you get an extra skill point in a particular skill. So we will have a person who takes the leadership, a person who takes the science, a person who takes the medicine, and then one more person who gets to put the skill point wherever they want, because skill points are scant in this game, as you are about to discover. This is tone-wise, this is gritty. This is, tight spaces. This is into the unknown. This is life is cheap. This is also as classic with these kinds of games as we've seen in Alien and other games. This is a game where you will be cracking up. There is a pressure roll that is made, hence the name of the game. When something bad happens, that maybe you'll come through it fine, maybe you won't. Maybe you'll build up that pressure level, and as that goes up, there's a roll to see whether you have essentially a breakdown in that. So that's something that we'll be tracking throughout play. Important thing to remember is you can get healed for a little bit in the field for physical damage. You cannot get healed for psychological damage. There is no recovery for that in the field. So once you go down that line of taking pressure and cracking up in the field, it's going to stay that way. So with all that in mind, that kind of setup for things for our team being out here, Uh, Lastly, I want to discuss safety. We use a layered set of safety tools. I know all of you are familiar with those, but I do like to go through those again. We are using lines, veils, and our ask first to mark out important choices here. You can check through that and see what things you want to add and add in anything that we haven't marked in there at the moment. I did put a note that, of course, this is kind of a horror game, so graphic gore is generally on the table unless somebody is very much opposed to that. But that's kind of built into the setting right now. We can have a conversation about that if we need to. So again, lines, veils, as first as our baseline. Veil being anything that we would fade to black on, or if it appears, it's kind of off screen. Ask first being, I want us to check in on this topic before we come to that, if that were to arise. Second layer is the question of the X card, the use of the X card, which I know you're familiar with. We can do the X card either saying X card or doing the gesture for that. X card can be used to represent material we find objectionable, that we find problematic, that we find wildly off tone. The X card can importantly be used if maybe we've started to play into a particular trope or aspect or element that we have as a line or a veil. Maybe we haven't caught it. The X card is a good place to mark that out to tell us, and then we stop and recalibrate. Important distinctions, details about the X card is when you invoke the X card, the only question we're going to necessarily ask is like, how far back do we need to go to cut, to reframe or rephrase that? You don't have to explain your decisions, your choices of invoking the X card. You don't have to defend them. You may if you wish, but you are not required to. The last of our sort of layered set of safety tools is our open door policy, meaning that if you need to step away for whatever reason, physical, psychological, cat bite, any of those things, you are welcome to do so. If you can tell us you're going to be back, that's great, but you're not required to. Open door also means that if we get done with the session and in between sessions, you're like, oh, this is not the game I thought it was, or not the game I want to play, you are absolutely legit to say, I think I'm not coming back. That is, you should never play in a game that you are not enjoying. I have lived too long and played in too many of those games. So I want to make sure that everybody is here for that. So we do have a romance matrix. I did put that on the thing. I don't think that is necessarily appropriate for the play that we're doing, but should the situation arise, we'll come and we'll investigate that. Right now, we have a roller there where we have the Roll With Me roller. I've got the link there on that Safety and Resources tab. I have put a Pinterest board link there. I put together one. Unfortunately, we're getting to the point where a lot of Pinterest stuff is AI generated. So you'll see a lot of those styles of artwork, but I tried to be liberal about what I picked there. I also put a link if you're interested. There is a longer timeline and discussion of the setting for pressure that is available. I did put a link to a drive note on that. You're welcome to engage with that as you will. So that is kind of the basics of the setup. So let's go to the characters tab. You will come up with a name for your character, put your player name. In both cases, please establish your pronouns in there. And that concept is very loose for people. Is any one of the four of you want to be the person who takes the extra point in leadership? Everyone holds off on that. Okay. So we're going to put that off to the side. The next one is anyone want to be the person who takes the point in medicine? No takers. Who wants to be the person who takes the extra point in science?
I'll go with science.
Okay, so
The
someone's
rest of
actually
you can fight over the last place.
okay. And then there's a free point. Who wants to say I get the free point?
I'll grab leadership. I can
Okay,
do that.
I'm shaming you into this, Ondish. You take the so you're going to get the regular points. I'm going to tell you in a moment, but you're going to get an extra skill point in leadership. Rob, do you want science or do you want medicine?
Medicine sounds good to me.
Okay, so you get an extra skill point in medicine. Puckett, we're going to give your character an extra skill point in science.
Oh, I thought that was
I'm
me.
the scientist.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, so
Do you want to be the?
no, yeah. So Donna's getting the extra science. Puckett, you get the extra skill point in whatever you want.
Okay.
Yeah.
Unless
So
you
here
really
is
want to be the scientist bucket.
yeah. Here is the breakdown for what you're going to do skill wise. You have 10 points to spread amongst your attributes: charisma, agility, strength, and education. The minimum is 1. The maximum is 4, but you've got 10 points to spread amongst those. Basically, those numbers are what you're generally going to be rolling and adding a d6 to. Our target number is 7 or better on most things. So 7 is kind of our target there. Strength is also your hit points. So I just want to register that out for everyone. The amount of damage you can take is based on your strength. Your resistance to pressure is measured by your strength plus your education. That's your strength, your pressure bonus. Shooting is generally agility. So just so you kind of know how things work. So you get 10 points to spread amongst those. When you go to roll for a thing, let's say the target number is 7. Again, that's our default target number. If you roll a total of the d6 plus the attribute that is less than 7, that is a failure. If you roll exactly a 7, that is a partial success, or success with cost, or success with complication. If you roll above your target number, that is a full success. You will have 3 points worth of skills. Look how few skill points you get. You could do anything. These represent extra training. Yes, Rob.
I have not played Osprey games before. Is this a 2d6 roll?
Is a 1d6 roll.
1d6. Okay.
1d6.
Gotcha.
And one of the things is every single Osprey game uses a different system.
Ah,
I literally mean with a couple of exceptions, they are all different mechanics. So
okay.
you are not missing anything by not having played the other ones. This one doesn't use the red light, green light, amber light token system from Crescendo of Violence, for example. You get 3 points to spread among skills. If a skill has a check mark by it, then that represents a skill that you can really only attempt to do if you actually have a point in that skill. So there are several of those. So go ahead and choose your sort of 3 points that you want to spend in addition to the bonus point. So effectively, Puckett, you will have 4 points to spend. You may put up to 2 of those points in a single skill. I'm going to talk a couple other mechanical things. The system is not very complicated, so I do want to give you some perspective on this before we go too much further. I've mentioned success, partial success, and failure. In a combat situation, you get 2 actions: move, shoot, use, whatever you want to do. You can do the same action twice. So 2 actions. We do roll initiative. Initiative is based on agility. That initiative is rolled at the start of things. Hand-to-hand physical is an opposed test. Your roll, usually plus strength, versus their roll. Ranged attacks are generally difficulty 7, as with the standard difficulty. If they have cover or other things, the difficulty can go up. If you wish, after a roll is made on you, a successful attack, you can opt to make a dodge roll. A dodge roll is difficulty 7. If you fully succeed, then you get out of the way of it. If you do a partial success, then you just take 1 point of damage. Otherwise, you take the standard damage. If you decide to dodge, then on your next action, you cannot attack. Cannot make an attack move once you have dodged on that next. Let me see what the other... I think that is the basic mechanical. Again, damage goes to your strength. When you hit 0 on strength, you will go unconscious. Medics can use med pack to restore a point of strength. If you go to -2, you are dying. Weapons, you'll roll a die for their damage, but weapons have a damage cap. So, for example, the pulse rifle has a damage cap of 4, so that's the most points of damage it can do on a single hit. If you're targeting a target that is surprised or is in a static position where they're trapped, then you always do full damage. I think that's the biggest stuff. Like, that's the basics of the system as you wish to have in mind here. I'm going to go through the safety and resources, basically what we've chosen as our lines and veils, and then I'm going to come around and I'm going to ask everybody for your name and kind of how you are picturing your character. I'm going to ask you some questions about, how you came to be part of this SOS team. Again, corporations are kind of fighting each other in private wars, but governments are the only ones that are allowed to have essentially armed ships. And people like yourselves are generally state trained, but now operate as independent military groups, sometimes under contract for a particular corporation, or sometimes as freelancers, or sometimes subcontracted from the state itself. So our safety and resources tab, we have lines on the following things: harm to animals, homophobia, racism, sexual assault, torture by the PCs, graphic descriptions of blunt force head trauma, sexism, and transphobia. So these are not topics for our particular horror movie that we are dealing with. We do have a veil on any kind of sexual content. So we're kind of PG-13 or PG in that regard. So we're sort of like the motion pictures rating board. So we turn away from that. We do have ask first for situations with PC betrayal or with suicide as an element of play. We'll check in before we were to be bringing in any of those topics or themes into our play. So I'm going to give you another minute or two, and then I'm going to go left to right across the character keeper and have everybody introduce themselves and their characters. Anyone have any questions before I go on? Yes, Andish.
a couple of the skills. Con, is that like deception, that sort of thing?
Exactly. Yeah. Full, full fooling someone in a very professional way.
Yeah, cool. And I see there's both hand-to-hand and melee as skills. So is hand-to-hand unarmed and
Yeah, hand-to-hand is physical punching, and melee is any kind of knife work, sword, weapons, anything like that.
cool. Yeah, I think that was everything.
Okay. So Rob, you are in first chair for this. Give us identify yourself, your pronouns, your character, their pronouns, and kind of what you are picturing for this character.
All right, my name is Rob. My pronouns are he, him. Through the magic of a name generator, I got the name Wyatt Solari for this character. I'm picturing a situation where this is sort of a corporate arrangement where he received his medical training, sort of sponsored by the corporation, and now he's in the process of kind of fulfilling the obligatory work that was to follow. So however long that contract was for, he's probably been in the I'm sorry, Wyatt's pronouns are also he, him. He's probably been in the, unless we have a determined like kind of length of time of operations for our team, or like, are we just starting out, or are we sort
You tell
of
me. How would you like to picture your
okay? I kind of picture he's been in a year or two, uh, with some time to go, and I imagine there's an arrangement of, the contract is for a certain length of time, but he gets like early release credits for achieving corporate agendas. He'll sort of, so he's not actively rebellious, but he's aware of the sort of coercive dynamic of his current work situation. Like he does a good job, he is loyal to the team, like that kind of thing.
Mhm.
But he is sort of like marking off the days on the calendar until that corporate contract will let him choose a different.
How much do you think they put you through like military training, or did they just drop you in the mix on this kind of thing?
I imagine like the majority of his training was academic, medical specifically, but mostly in the classroom. I imagined there was like a boot camp situation. It was maybe like, 8 weeks, 12 weeks or something, but he's not like a practice soldier. He's just sort of, they were like, here's how you operate, a parachute. This is the dangerous end of the gun. Like, do a lot of push-ups. Go about your day.
But pretty young then.
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So hasn't really trained on using the full rifle. or guns. I noticed you didn't put any in ranged.
Yeah, not trained. That was not a. Oh, it is starred. Okay, so yeah, no, it's he
Okay.
probably carries one, but yeah, not trained for that sort of that sort of behavior.
Okay. Absolutely. And tall, short, thick. Like how are you like when we see him physically, like what is going to be our impression of him on screen? Do we have stunt casting or is this particular sort of vision you have of them?
I was drawn to one of the items in your Pinterest board, but I'm not sure how to display that. Should I just screen share that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah. I mean,
All right.
actually, which one is it?
It's Olmut Legrand.
Okay.
Pressure. Is that easier for you to bring up than
Yeah, I
for
can
me?
bring
Okay.
that character up. I'll screen share that.
Yeah, I haven't dropped it in the keeper yet.
There we go. That's a good picture.
But probably I don't know, 5-10 years younger than this, but this is about what I picture.
Okay.
I was drawn to this image.
It's a good one. And I always like to screen share because once you screen share when you're recording on Zoom, when you upload it to YouTube, it'll do it as HD rather than SD. A quick trick that I have learned, by the way. All you have to do is screen share once and it will do that. I don't know why. All right. So like what's the worst thing that Solari has seen so far?
There was a really unfortunate shuttle bay depressurization accident. Like he had seen injuries, but this was sort of a mass scale. There's probably, let's say, a dozen people
Okay.
were involved. So it wasn't the specific gore, but it was the scale of what can go wrong on big operations.
Were you able to save anyone?
Say one person.
Okay. All right. Awesome. We will move on to our next character. Puckett, tell us about your character.
Hera's basically just around to be a patsy.
Okay.
She was
her?
Yes.
Okay.
That's right. I suppose I should share the name and pronouns first. Hera Mason, she, her. She had a very rough childhood, spent a lot of time on the streets, learned how to fight, learned how to, well, basically learned how to do a lot of things that she probably shouldn't, and eventually it all caught up with her. And she was languishing away in prison until she was furloughed on a, air quote, rabbit ears work program for a corporation. Now, of course, she's on this because she knows how to do a couple of things like fight and shoot, and she's stealthy. But also she's there to take the fall if something goes horribly wrong. It's basically, as long as everything goes well, fine, you're on the outside. Anything goes sideways, you're going right back in, and probably for the rest of your natural life, because we're not going to be sending you places that are nice to do things that are nice. So the likelihood, the probability, if you will, of things going sideways is very, very high. Luckily, she's a little streetwise, so she can often get a feel for when something is going to go horribly wrong and maybe minimize that a little bit, or at least get out of harm's way.
How long do you think you've been in this service like this?
Probably about a year and a half.
Okay.
Long enough to have kind of figured out how to operate, but not long enough that prison has really shaken off.
And what did you do? What did they charge you with when they threw you in? There may be two
Armed
different things.
robbery, assault, assault with a deadly weapon, you know, the normal charges you get when you're robbing people with guns.
Do you
And
like
especially
do you like being in the SOS? Do you dislike being in the SOS, or like what's your feeling about the life that you've been put into for the last 18 months?
well, I'm used to routines from prison. So that doesn't really bother me. I'm also used to, things being very, very calm and then getting tense and then exploding at a moment's notice because of prison. Also from my childhood, you know, things can happen very, very suddenly in prison, and you have to react in some way, whether it's to save yourself or to try to stop something truly bad from happening, etc. I guess what I'm saying is it's not a whole lot different than prison, except out here, when I shoot people, the corporation seems to appreciate it. Whereas before, if I shot somebody, that really wasn't the case, literally and figuratively.
Have you done anything to personalize your gear or your armor, or have you kind of left it stock as is?
Stock as is. I don't know how long I'm going to have it.
Okay.
I don't want to get fined.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I can like take some of the money I've got. If I have to go back inside, maybe I can take some of the money that I've got and I can put it in my commissary,
Okay.
But yeah, I don't want them trying to charge me some cleanup fee or something like that.
Absolutely. Don't get caught by the company store. I think that is fully reasonable. All right. I think that gives a good sense of who you are. That brings us to Ondish.
Yeah, Anders, him. I'm playing Mac Holden. He is career soldier, basically. He's a pro, but he's not super smart. He does what he's told, and I think he's sent along on missions to make sure everyone else does what they're told as well. So he's there as much to keep everyone else on track as to get the job done in other ways.
So been in the service for quite a few years.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you think like is this a thing where you re-up your contract every couple of years, and you've done that a few times?
Yeah, I think so. I think he pretends to himself that he has a plan. Like, when I've saved up this much, I'm going to get out, but somehow that just never happened.
He has leadership. Like, what's his style of leading? Is it shout and command? Is it go to the front? What is his like management style?
Very direct, no nonsense, and he's been on a lot of jobs. A lot of people have not come back, so he doesn't get attached. I think he's not like I think there's a little bit of the don't get attached because you'll get hurt.
Mhm.
So he keeps people away, but he does try to keep everyone alive. So it's not he's not just in it for himself, but he also knows that things go bad, and that yeah, it's more important that he gets back alive than that anyone else does. But that doesn't mean that he's going to just ditch everyone at the first sign of trouble.
Absolutely. What is Mac Holden's biggest fuck up?
Ooh, um, yeah, I think I think he and his team got some they were escorting some VIP, and they screwed it up completely, and that person got killed. And I think they tried to cover it up, and maybe they succeeded. Like it was a complete fuck up. Like someone accidentally shot him or something, and then they tried to set it up like it was an ambush.
Excellent. I think that gives us a good bit hanging in your background there. That brings us finally, Donna. Tell us about your character.
Yeah, hi. My name is Donna. My pronouns are he, him. I'm playing Logan Valance, also he, him. I mean, I guess the high concept for Logan is living the dream, getting to fly. So I imagine maybe he had learned the ropes in whatever passes for a legitimate military in the setting, and then after minimum term, getting some proper flight experience, walked away and into what he saw as maybe a cushy job, where he got to fly a lot, in the SOS. Not a people person, I think, but not in a totally unlikable way. You know, what you see is what you get, and it's not that great, but it's not terribly ugly either. So, yeah, if you stay out of his way and let him fly, he'll be fine.
Prefer doing the starship piloting and navigation, or do you prefer doing essentially the drop ship, like attack ship kind of on the ground thing?
I think if you asked Logan that question, he would definitely say doing the space stuff, because it's quieter, it's kind of easier, you got more time. But secretly, he likes when it gets ugly in atmosphere.
Yeah, and probably there's more. Spaceship navigation essentially is classic alien. Go get everything set, get in the long sleep pod, get woken up if anything diverges, kind of thing.
Yeah. If I had enough points, I would have put the fifth one in navigation, but I didn't, so I didn't.
So with your character, how long has he been in service with the SOS? Is it fairly recent? Is it long term?
I think it's pretty long term, maybe 10 years, maybe a dozen years. So kind of in for the long haul, or at least till someone says he's got to get promoted to like train pilots or whatever it is you do when you're not in the hot seat anymore.
So we've got our transport vessel, and it's a DSTV. DS is designation for interstellar ships, to TV for transport vehicle. It's a carrier. It's not armed, because you are carrying task force people rather than doing full starship battle kind of things, and even that is fairly rare. But this DSTV, what's its name?
I think there is like the official kind of name it was given is something kind of historical, like, the Golden Hind or something.
Okay.
Right? Some kind of, this is when corporations can do whatever they want and go out and make buck with a letter of writ or whatever. But someone like Hind, that sounds like butt, so I think it's being painted over and it's like the Golden Butt.
Okay.
It is not officially sanctioned, but we have a lot of time on our hands, and terrible jokes is maybe how we pass that time.
Absolutely. So we start out, got an interior shot of the ship. This is a vessel that is purely orbital in space. It has, a non-attack, but a standard drop shuttle that you've got here. We'll hear that the sound of the systems booting up. We'll see the lights coming on, and we'll start to see like all of the different modules starting up. Wyatt, what do the long sleep capsules look like? Are they the kind of the flat beds? Are we upright? Or is it crystal? Like, what's different from the other sci-fi shows that we've seen for these long sleep pods?
I picture, so I think, first of all, I think they're very boxy. I think these are square stacked items. So they sort of insert into this wall of shelves.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how they're sort of stored during transit. When it kind of, like a big robot arm extracts them from the wall and places them in the like the wake up table. And the lids like pop a little and slide back, but the process is so mechanical. Like the arms, the gears and teeth and arms are on the outsides of the boxes. You
Mm-hmm.
kind of have to manually unlock, and you have to ratchet a thing, and it's like ka-chunk to open up.
Absolutely, like the little pistons come down, do the turns, the pneumatics go. We'll
Yeah.
see that go on, and as soon as you kind of get up and out, the system says clear, clear, clear until you get out of the way, and it picks it up immediately
Yeah,
and
the big
moves it back. There's like a drain of fluid that gets sprayed out down some tubes, and then it puts it back in and a tight area where this is kind of first you came out because you're the doctor to check on the others, and then the others come out. Tara, what's your reaction to waking up from long sleep? Like, what's the first thing you're the second person up and out? Solari's up. What do we see you do?
Immediately go for some coffee, and if it's not ready, I start making it.
Okay.
This is the thing that differentiates this job really from prison. Like when I wake up, I'm not in a cell. I can walk someplace else and do something else.
Yeah, there's the sound of the synth cha machine grinding up, and doing that. You've as you would expect with any of these corporate chips, you can push a button and get the free coffee. But if you want to spend some creds, they've got some pods set aside, so you can get the good stuff. Uh, Mac, you're third up. The grinding sound of this, the pulls back the lid. You wake up. What's SOP, standard operating procedure for you as soon as you're up?
Yeah, just grabbing that cup of coffee, but immediately start checking my gear, like
Okay.
going through everything, making sure everything is in place, um, nothing missing, nothing not working. That's
Absolutely. Get that out there. I think everything is tightly packed. It's not like you have an open locker with a few things. Like you open up your locker and everything is put in its specific place. Everything is jammed in there. I'm picturing a little bit Fifth Element of things having to slide out so you can get at them.
yeah.
So we see you getting set up. Uh, uh, Logan Valance, uh, you are awoken. Kind of roll out. We'll see you like glance up. You can tell you were headed to a place called Krogan Station. which is, a standard patrol route for check-in there. And you'll immediately see that that is not where you are at. And essentially you've got, not unusually, a mission alert that has changed course for the ship. And you're just now decelerating in system for the location. What does the screen look like? Are we talking more primitive green screen, like literally green and black, or are we talking more hyperdimensional? Like, what do we see?
I mean, I think the cathode ray tubes are in in heavy supply here. Everything is built. I mean, built by the lowest bidder, right? But also built to survive without humans poking at it for a while. So it needs to get up and running, but it doesn't need to be like instant or anything. So it
Does
takes a
that
while to
warble
warm
at the
up.
edge of the screen, like when it's still
Yeah,
warming up,
yeah,
kind of thing?
absolutely.
And we'll see you stagger over, and you can hit the switch on the thing, and you'll get essentially they've done their mission briefing chat GP to summarize your mission from the parameters, and it'll say we've dropped out of warp in the Galease 784 star system after our Sam, that's your auto bot who's up in the main cockpit, received a distress call from a moon over a gas giant called Foster. According to records, it has a small base on the surface owned by Foster Private Endeavors, a scientific research company that used to be part of Cummingham Corp. That went bankrupt a few months ago. Cummingham Corp, just as you would know, like had an absolute cascade failure collapse as a company. We have no idea what is happening down there, but listen to the distress call sent by Dr. Ford, who we believe is in charge. And they'll play this out over the comms. Again, staticky, gritty, as you would expect here with solar interference. But you can still, even with that, hear the panic and stress in his voice. And he says, this research station Foster PE calling, sending out a general mayday. We have suffered a collapse in containment and require immediate evacuation. Send help, please. God, dear God, send help. Foster Private Endeavors is not declared the function of this base. Go back to the text here. As only marketed as private scientific research. And I will mention that sends alarm bells ringing for all of you. The mission has two objectives. One, locate and rescue any survivors. Two, investigate and report as to what has happened there. And Central has read those mission parameters, confirmed them, and deployed you. So I'm going to come back the other way. Logan, we do the sort of glamour shot on the outside. We can see the moon down below. What does the actual ship look like? What does the Golden Hind? What's its shape or its look or appearance?
So I think there is. I mean, it's kind of bare bones. There's no sleekness to it. It is, purely functional for deep space. There is this what looks like a rotation section in it. Maybe where we bunk or do like normal human activity when we're in downtime. But it's quite small and cramped. And then the rest of it is kind of just like almost like cargo boxes in the superstructure.
Absolutely. You're a transport vessel. You're made to haul people, things. You've got your transit. Is the engine like small, sort of Firefly style, or is it big, sort of, a more massive thing at the end of the ship? How are you picturing that?
I think there is like one normal reaction drive, which is kind of that relatively small cross section. But then, like further out, there's these like four, dark, quiet engines, maybe which are responsible for that warp um, warp drive, which we never get to see.
Right. Excellent. Mac, I have a tab now in the Keeper called Equipment, which has a copy of that briefing. And also, essentially the company standard loadout that is supplied to everyone on the mission. Stun pistol, standard Gauss pistol, the coil rifle, body armor. Body armor, if you're hit, you can roll body armor. If you roll a 5 or a 6, the body armor takes the hit instead. Standard comm unit, and everybody gets a med pack, but Dr. Wyatt gets 3 med packs. So Holden, what are your orders here as you move into orbit?
Yeah, kind of get everyone's attention. Right. So we know what we're doing. We're trying to find any survivors, get them out, figure out what happened. We don't get paid extra for doing this more thoroughly than we need to. Of course, we try to save and everyone we find, but figuring out what happened, as soon as we have a good guess, don't waste any more time on it.
Tara, what does the weaponry look like? Like, what does the rifle look like? What does a pistol look like? What's our unique gun design? Is it real classic 20th century, or is it something else?
It's chunky. Like, these things are built like bricks.
Okay.
It's like somebody watched the old movies where someone would throw an empty gun at somebody, and they said, yeah, if that happens, we want that to actually have effect.
So yeah, no plastic, all metal, kind of heavy boxy things.
Big boxy things.
Okay.
I mean, the bright side of that is they hold a lot of ammo. The downside of that is they're big and boxy. It's like carrying a Volvo around and shooting with it.
Okay. Nice bullpup design, classic, boxy things. Dr. Wyatt, what does the body armor look like?
I like when we heard about the weaponry, it made me think, instead of what you might picture as like holsters or carrying devices like that, like things are very rigid and sort of form fitted and tactical, right? They snap onto things. So I feel like the body armor is sort of a utility chassis to like attach your gear in the ways you're at. So it's all rivets and hooks and holes, that kind of stuff, like on that sort of on the outside, that's like the
Nice.
framework.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I picture it as not very form fitting and very like stiff, just sort of armpits in, neck to navel. It's a unit like that. You have to kind of struggle into it, that sort of thing, or it clamshells around you,
I like
like
that.
that sort of thing.
Yeah. Lots of hooks. You have to attach your med packs onto that, get your gear set, get your comms set to the right frequencies. And Mac, you're in orbit, uh, taking the team down to the shuttle. What's the name of the Sam, your android, who's sitting up on like the flight deck at this point?
well, I just want to call him Sam. I think
So,
Sammy,
yeah.
maybe.
Absolutely. So Sam is seated there. We'll confirm holding position, and will remain in orbital over it. And Logan, what does this drop ship look like?
Yeah, I think it's almost like maybe I'm not sure which came first, the body armor or the dropship, but everything is clipped in. It's just like this sky hook with like boxes that we get into, and then we're just rammed into the chassis. And it's not comfortable. Not You won't be like giving the flight a 5 when you when you
Okay.
check out or anything like that. So pretty rough and ready.
Absolutely. Like modules hooking in, little Space 1999. We got the flight frame and then jam the other things on there. We'll see you launch down. Let's have you make a pilot roll to see how smooth your ride down is, / how much info you can pick up on the way down. Does that seem fair?
Yeah. I mean, I've got my excuses in first as to why the flight will not be smooth,
Okay.
but So I'm rolling 1d6. I'm adding my agility and pilot.
Yep.
Do you hear me, Lowell?
Yep. Did it go through?
No, so I'm just checking. Am I?
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. I thought so. Yes. Agility and pilot. So D6 plus 4.
Okay, cool. So that is a 5.
That is a 5. It is a loud hit. This moon has more turbulent atmosphere, like than you would have expected. You thought it was just pretty barren, but it actually has some, and you'll hit that and hit that wake and kind of come down loud. Land further away from your target than you would have necessarily wanted. There's a good 100 meters now between where you put the drop ship and where the entryway is, and you'll see it. You can tell that this is a classic, like, dug in underground research facility. The only thing you're seeing up at the top is like an above ground airlock. There's no like link up for a ship there. It's just there. There's a rover that's out on the surface that at this point is covered in dust. But you've got a hike over out in the open exposed to get over to that airlock. And we'll see all of you load up, rebreathers, that kind of thing, and head out, and we will take our first break here. Let's take 10, and then we'll enter into the facility. So craft slaps down, hard hit, about 100 meters away from that airlock. Mac, like, how do you organize your team? Like, do you take point? Does somebody else take point? What do we see on the ground?
I definitely take point. I don't trust any of these people to do this properly. So I take point, and I think I've given, like, while we're on the way down. I think Mac is not super bothered by the less than graceful descent. It's like he is used to just being shaken about in these drops. But he is given, like, repeatedly given instructions you stick close to me, you watch your six. It's like just making sure everyone at least knows the very basics, because he doesn't expect anyone or these people who aren't like pro soldiers to know properly what they're doing.
Yeah, you don't exactly have a team, with the exception of Logan, who's a veteran pilot. You've got Mason, who's been here for a while, but does not come from professional service, and Solari's relatively wet behind the ears. You will hit that big airlock. There's wide doors, such that you could get the rover inside or carry cargo inside. But as we also described earlier, like a lot of the kind of the gears and things on the outside of this, and you'll go to hit the panel, and you'll see that the facility is in essentially standby mode, powered down, emergency power only. So like, what is it you have to do to get these doors open? Do you have to like get a crank and turn it? Do you have to pull it? Do you have to do something else? What do you think?
Yeah, I think you have to. Yeah, I think there's like a hand crank, and it's like it's not it's really slow, but you don't have to use a lot of force. So it's like you're just cranking, and the door like slowly open.
How far do you want to open it up? Well, all the way? Do you want to just open it wide enough to go through? What's the deal?
I think I put someone else on cranking duty so that I can just like stand in the opening door and just look inside.
So who's cranking the door open?
Solari points to Logan. Like when he sees Mac looking around, Solari kind of.
A raised hand looks like volunteering to me, Wyatt. but I'll
open the door.
He kind of so yeah, it goes, oh no, I guess one-handed.
It's so loud, even though it's not that hard to open this thing. Like the dust and the crud in this thing, it just as there's this
oh no
as it opens up, it like that sound goes through. And Mac, you're there, it'll get like, let's say maybe half a meter open. You will look inside. You can see that this airlock is basically a very large room. There's that sort of one every three lights are on, and they're on that sort of dimmer light that tells you that this base is on battery backup. You'll see that there are like plastic chairs, bolted to the wall. There's a couple of like portable labs or research closets, things like that are set up in here. There's a vending machine at the far end that even from here you can see that the front has been torn out of it. And the smell that comes out here, even through your rebreathers, is of human waste and rotted food, kind of sweet and unpleasant. What do you do, Mac?
Start to go inside and like kind of behind without turning, pointing to Logan, like you're with me, and then to Mason, just like speaking over my shoulder to Tara, you cover us. Solari don't get in trouble.
So you go in. I do have, you can see on the walls, there's very like uh, a rapid prototype printed unlabeled map on the wall. So I do have a complex map now in the tab. It does show where essentially power and engineering is located, but the other rooms aren't labeled. So Mac, you moving in. Logan, are you following behind, Mac?
I mean, as tempted as I am by the vending machine, I'm gonna cover Mac.
Mac, what do you, like? Where are you headed in the room? What do you want to look at? What do you want to do? What do you want to see?
First of all, secure this room.
Okay.
Make sure there's nothing, nobody hiding in a corner, that sort of thing.
Okay.
Not like going poking everywhere, but making a sweep, and then moving forward into the
Yeah.
the main base itself.
Yeah. So moving into the room, taking a check, looking for corners, watching your 6 coming in. Tara, what do we see you do?
I'm looking around to see. I mean, this facility kind of looks abandoned. Why the hell were we sent out here for a facility where I mean, basically what we can smell is damn near death. So there's not really a whole lot of signs of people being here besides the odor of waste.
I think you will notice as you're kind of moving along, you will see that like kind of tossed on the floor around here are wrappers, like from the vending machine. Clearly someone has been eating off of that. I think you'll notice that. Mac. Tara's back behind. Wyatt, I assume you followed behind Tara. Mac, Logan, you've kind of moved up. And as you are moving close and you get by one of these like portable equipment things, the front of it, the like shed door on it will come flying open, and it's hard to make out what it is, but this figure comes flying out of it, swinging at you. Mac, would you please make a pressure test for me since you are right close by?
Sure. So I have a +4, right?
Yes,
Education
strength plus
plus strength.
education.
Yeah. That's a 6.
That is a 6. So this crazed figure flies out of there and hits you with this wrench. Does no physical damage, but like with the blinking lights and the buzzing and everything like that, it freaks you out. Like it comes out of nowhere. But go ahead and raise your pressure level to 1. And
Yeah,
you kind of
yeah,
like
yeah.
you're so taken aback that you can't react. Logan, you see this figure comes out, smack with this, is kind of yelling. A woman, maybe? Is it hard to tell in the lighting here? Or maybe doctors, the lab coat. What do you do, Logan?
I mean, I point the coil rifle right in her face, and I wouldn't say calmly. I shout at her to calm the fuck down, because that's totally how psychology works, right?
Absolutely. Well, why don't you make a charisma roll for me?
Oh yeah. That that sounds like it's
I think it's a little bit easier because you are using a gun. I think difficulty
okay.
is 6 here, but
Okay.
this is not your forte.
Yeah.
This is a people thing.
That is a 4 total.
That is a 4. I think that you kind of get the gun up, even as she like is swinging around. She's not hearing you. You're your voice isn't carrying too loud in here over her sort of shouts. Tara, you see that. You see Matt kind of stagger back. Logan is kind of trying to diffuse the situation, not doing anything. What do you do?
I use Streetwise to figure out that something real bad is about to happen, unless somebody kind of neutralizes the situation or steps in.
I don't think there's a role for that. I think that, yeah, this mind you, this woman is not swinging particularly hard. She just kind of smacks that wrench on Mac's armor. So what do you want to do?
Hey, calm down. We're here to help. We're here to actually get you and anybody else alive out of here.
Let's have you roll charisma.
Oh God, roll charisma. Of course, I didn't have the die roller open.
That's okay.
Go me. D6. That is a 3, and my charisma is 2.
So I think she is still kind of freaking out there. Why I'm going to give you opportunity to do something before she acts again.
Oh, I light her up with my stun pistol.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right.
After screaming.
Why don't you roll ranged for me?
So, in the circumstance where I'm attempting an operation with an asterisk skill and I do not have any points in it.
Ed, the difficulty is increased by 1.
Okay. So, ranged is agility?
Yes.
All right. Moment. That is an 8.
Look at that.
Wow.
What is this like they're all
Wow.
trying to talk to her, Mac's trying to get himself back together, and pistol comes up and what is the stun pistol like? Is it like a phase blaster? Is it like firing a cushion? Is it a dart? What does that look like?
I like a nice electrical arc.
Okay.
It's just lightning. Like you just see a
And that she'll immediately drop the wrench and kind of like staggers back, hits against this shed and kind of just like slides down. And you will see this woman, mid-40s, dressed in standard like lab uniform. She does not look like she's in good shape. You can see she looks ill. Hair stringy. From the smell that's coming inside that shed, you think that that's been basically a porta potty for a while. And her eyes are kind of red limp, and now she's just kind of seated there, like looking off in the distance as the stun is wearing off. Mac.
Kind of dusting myself off. Good job, Solari. Tara, secure her.
I mean, Matt, can I at least check her out?
You can check her out while Mason is securing her. Don't want her to smack anyone else.
Tara, how do you?
You'd see Wyatt was like halfway reaching for a med pack already, but he definitely like lets Tara go first.
Tara, how do you secure? Do you think you have cuffs? Do you have zip ties? Do you just kind of stand by her, gun out? Like what's securing mean in this context?
First thing I do is kind of look up apologetically at Wyatt, because it's like, yes, she absolutely 100% needs to get checked out. I mean, for any kind of contagions, first of all, I mean, can we get sick? But, I think we have these loops that they're probably some sort of semi intelligent polymer.
Mhm.
So when they feel resistance, they tighten, and when they don't feel resistance, they loosen a little bit. So, they're just these loops that we can use as cuffs.
Yeah.
And we can use them to secure things on the ship. There's lots of different uses for these things, but they're really handy for this.
Wrap, quick tie to one of the, like, there's a pipe off of this thing. You tie that. Let's have you make a medicine roll, Solari. You definitely be able to kind of get her in shape, but to kind of get your assessment of what's going on here.
Oh, this thing is broken. I got a 10.
This woman is malnourished. You can see she's got some old bruising that has been healing. She's clearly been in here rough. There's she's been under artificial light for, you would guess, week and a half, maybe, that kind of thing. And you'd be able to do a simple stim, maybe a kind of equivalent of smelling salts here to bring her around, and she will finally focus in on you. And she said, "Oh, thank God, thank God. We have to go. Please, we have to go. I've been here 8 days. Um, they're all over the station. We can't stay. We've got to go."
All right, this was I kind of came over like just by rote, sort of in the training manual by rote. I like kicked the wrench away, where she dropped it, and I feel like I was crouched down doing like the pen light in the eyes, sort of thing while she's talking. And so when she says that, I just like I'm still sort of holding her head and looking at her, but I just immediately go, "Yeah, Mac, she says we got to go."
What are they?
I, I, I don't know what happened. It was clear. Like, I don't even know the full extent of the business. Like, I'm just the office manager. Uh, 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 all I know is that genetic scientists like doing their stuff, some kind of gene manipulation. I just took, this is just my term to do the admin work. Uh, but everyone's dead. All of them. These creatures, like, they came out of containment at the back of the station. Uh, they were like people, but they're fucked up. They're twisted people. Uh, like like stuff is sticking out of them. Uh, uh, I don't know what. Look, there were 12 of us, but I think it's only me and Dr. Ford left. Uh, uh, he's the lead. He locked himself in his lab. He's probably still alive, but like, we could just leave him. We should go. Uh, I heard he got a distress call out. I could hear it over the comms, but we need to go.
I kind of want to have a meta discussion here because uh, because I feel like Mac could go either way here. Like, just try to convince her to say that no, I was the only person left alive, and then we've saved the person who's left alive, and we know what went wrong, so we can just leave. But that feels like kind of cheating the mission a bit. It's more
Well,
fun.
here's the thing is, that if she's right and that's the lead scientist, the payout that you will get for this job is significantly higher
Yeah.
if you bring back
we have
the chief
a
scientist
reason.
versus the secretary.
Yeah. And then Mac does not mention any of those considerations and just yeah, if there may be someone else still alive, we need to check it out. What's the way to the lab?
Can you point on this map?
Yeah, she'll take a look at that, and she will say, do you see where engineering is there on the map?
Mhm.
She will say that far place down at the very bottom, that's where the containment was. And next door to that, sort of straight across from engineering and up a little, is Dr. Ford's office.
So that's where he is.
That's where he locked himself in.
So straight ahead through that room in the center, and then
That's the common room. Yeah.
Yeah, through the common room, and then first on the left.
Yeah. Through this door, 2 doors, and then to the left.
Okay.
Can I go to your ship? Can I get out? Can I please leave?
The ship is pretty close, right?
It's 100 meters across from where you're at. Someone probably have to take her back there.
Yeah.
Kind of share
Yeah, I
the.
wasn't going to let her go there by herself. Yeah, I'm going to do the thing and split the party. So, Solari, you bring her back to the ship. Make sure she can't do any damage. We will continue in. Hit us up on the comms when you're done.
Not for nothing, Mac, but being out of prison doesn't do me any good if I'm dead.
Yeah, well, not getting paid isn't going to do us any good either.
Pay is a little less concerning than remaining alive. And I look over at Wyatt.
Why?
Wyatt says, you want to trade?
I was thinking that we all just agree with it. And do we even know what her name is yet?
Her name is Campthert.
I just look at her and say, I think we should just all agree with, Campthert here and agree everyone in the facility is dead, right? Right, Campthert?
If that's what you say,
Wyatt doesn't say anything, but you can tell by the look on his face that he's not gonna like that. Sorry, Lowell.
No, that's good.
Mason, we have a job to do. It's what we're paid to do. If you don't like it, then you can quit after this mission. But as of now, you do what you're told, and we are going in there and finding that scientist. If he's dead, fine, we leave. If he's not, we get paid, and I mention a number, maybe not the exactly correct number, but a big number.
Okay. Solari?
Do what I'm told, huh? Oh, go ahead.
Solari?
I had an out of character question. Am I
Sure.
correct that Sam is on the main ship, not on the
Yeah,
shuttle?
he's not on the
Okay,
not on
I
the
just
drop
wanted to-
ship.
Okay.
I just look at Mac and say, you sound exactly like a CO right now.
Jesus, Tar, that's because he is in charge, right? You ever wonder why the number in his paycheck is higher than all of ours?
I mean, you guys are getting paid. I'm out on furlough. So, big number, no number, same to me.
Well, time off your sentence. Big number, small number is for you. Why are you going to take this woman, haul her back to the craft?
Yeah, and I say just that. I say, well, I'm gonna take her back to the craft. Tara, if you want to come with, I mean, we'll just drop her off, come right back.
I would love to make sure that the two of you are safe on this walk.
Oh, sorry to interrupt this little chit chat, but this is not a democracy. We have a job to do, and we need all hands we can get here right now. All hands who can point a gun in the right direction, at least. Dr. Solari can secure the I almost said prisoner. I don't mean that.
Is she still cuffed?
Yeah, she's like,
Secure the civilian
Visitor. You know,
Yeah.
we have a visitor pass for her now.
she is standing up, she's kind of on her feet. She will pull off her ID badge. She will hand it to you, Mac, and she'll kind of grab onto you, Solari, as if to say, "Please take me out of here now, please, 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 please."
So we start making our way out of the building, and I just sort of over my shoulder. I'm like, I mean, Mac, wait up if you like. I don't know if you want to go in there without a doctor. And I just keep walking to the dropship.
I want to make an aside to Wyatt as he's walking away, and kind of just for the two of us, but obviously maybe someone else overhears. Like, everyone who can point a gun, I think you're the one who saved Mac's ass there against the office manager.
Nice.
That was a like softly spoken thing, but Wyatt lets out sort of a loud snort as he's walking away.
Why I think to escort her back safely, to get her back without any further damage to her, keep her intact, I think that is a medicine roll.
I can dig that.
Eight.
That is
Perfect.
an 8.
You get her back. You have to kind of share the mask across this. You're able to do that. Get her locked down. She can't access any of the stuff here. Kind of lock her in. Come back. You don't get dust or anything in your face mask, and we'll bring you back. But for the moment, let's cut to Logan, Mac, Tara. You are moving forward into the common room, correct? Okay.
Yeah.
Mac, you'll go over. Uh, it is uh, a simple thing to get the pass onto these doors. But they do the thing where they've got like minimal battery power thing. So they open like about that wide. So you find yourself having to kind of prise them open. And the three of you will pull this open and step in, and this clearly was the central gathering area for the station, and it is a charnel house. You will see that the tables are overturned. There's food vending machines and auto prep things that are shattered. Uh, Wall panels and things have been torn down, and there are bodies everywhere. And not that many bodies, but each of those bodies is everywhere. They are dismembered. The bits and pieces that you see have been torn, and everything is covered in a thin patina of blood. Could I have all three of you who are going in at this moment, Logan, Mac, Tara, make pressure rolls?
I got a 10.
Good.
So.
You are right on. So you're kind of a little shaken there. You kind of hold Logan.
I got a 10 as well.
Okay, so you and Mac are both like that sort of frozen shake. You don't increase your pressure level, but you do are a little thrown. Tara?
I got a 2, and according to the sheet, my pressure bonus is strength plus education, which is a total of 6. So that's 8, I think.
That is an 8. So you are going to increase your pressure level by 1.
Okay.
This is not like anything you've seen before. And you've seen prison fights, you've seen riots, you've been in this 18 months, and you've seen a lot of shit, but this is not like anything you've seen before. I think as you move through, you'll realize that the overhead lights, first you thought maybe that the lighting here was emergency lighting that was red, but you realize it's the fact that the blood has sprayed across all of the overhead lights. And the smell of it. There's some disinfectant that a station like this generally keeps sprayed in the air to keep things clear, but even that doesn't keep down the smell of this. You will see that the door that is straight across the common room there is closed. The door off to the east, if we're looking at this map as north, south, east, west, is slightly cracked open. The door to the west is still closed. What do you want to do, Mac?
I'm going to point to Logan and point to that cracked door, like, and do the hand signal things, like, you cover that door, and then point to Tara and to myself and to the door straight ahead. Like, we two are continuing. Logan will stay here and cover that somewhat open door.
Okay. This is as Wyatt is coming back. Logan, how do you want to proceed?
Yeah, I mean, I think I almost take a knee and then I realize what I'm kneeling down into. And then I just,
Have you
stand
ever
back.
been in a really old movie theater
Sticky,
where,
sticky, sticky.
yeah, where they haven't cleaned up for a while, where your shoes every step and it makes that sound and you know it's going to keep making that sound for a while? That's
Yeah.
what this place is like.
So, I'm going to try not to breathe deeply, even though that's really what my instinct is to do. I'm just going to train this coil gun at the crack in the door and try to ignore the geography.
The atmosphere. Can I have you make a perception check?
Sure.
Perception is strangely enough under charisma.
Okay, yeah. That makes sense. Wow. Okay, I got a 7.
Got a 7.
Yeah.
So you will look in. You can tell that this must be one of the labs. And you can see there's still some screens that are kind of doing that like standby glow in places. There's clearly some biomaterial. I'll put that in the most generic sense for you. But the thing that we will see is that sort of towards the center is this like operating table. It has one of those containment domes over it. And you will look and you can't tell because the lighting is not great exactly what it is, but your eyes meet something else's eyes on that table. and you'll hear the sound of some shifting, like it's starting to move and pull and shake on that table. What do you do?
Like I maybe as I was like focusing in on that, I start to slowly edge towards the gap to get a better look, and there's the of my feet sticking on the floor, and then I just stop and I go, boss, boss, on
Goes through
comms.
on comms. Mac, you and Tara have just about reached that southern door to kind of check and start moving, and Logan will come over the comms.
Yeah, I'll put my hand on Tara's shoulder to kind of halt her, and then turn towards Logan to see what is pointing.
And I think you can tell, like, I'm not holding the coil gun in the kind of a ready phase. I am definitely aiming at something now in a very kind of un-Logan-esque pose, right?
And I think, Mac, now you're starting to hear some noise coming from that door that Logan is in front of. And Logan, that pulling, that gesturing, that ripping of the restraints is getting louder there.
Okay. And I just go, I'm going to start shooting now, boss. Okay. And I don't wait for an answer. I just lamp through the gap in the door at this thing.
So it is a ranged attack.
Yeah. Okay. That is a 9.
That is a 9. So there is that essentially as you let off a 4-shot burst into this thing, and kind of that flash of that muzzle flash, the doorway kind of blinds you from seeing what's on, but you'll hear what you know is the sound of bullets hitting flesh, and this screech, and kind of do that burst and then stop, wait, and you don't hear any more of that sound of it moving.
Yeah, I mean, I was about to say short control burst, 3 lies in 1, but yeah, I will wait for the air to clear. I don't know what kind of discharge there is, steam wise or smoke wise, from this coil gun, but I'm gonna wait for it to clear and maybe for Mac to arrive on the scene.
Dr. Wyatt, you've dropped her off. You've come back into this room, and you can hear from the next room the sound of gunfire.
Can I do a little rewind?
Sure, please.
Because when Mac sent Wyatt off, he told him to check back in on comms when he was done. So what I imagine from Wyatt's point of view is he's going off, he secures the civilian, the shuttle, or the dropship, and he's on his way back, and he's reaching for his comm to report in, and hears Logan say, boss, and he just runs like into he pulls the rifle and is just running back into the base.
Mac, Tara, Logan has just lit up that room. You hear Wyatt coming running back. Tara, what are you doing?
I'm extremely reluctant about this whole thing.
I noticed.
When I hear the gunfire, I pivot around, so I now have our 6. So instead of 2 guns forward, it's now 1 gun in each direction. And I say, Mac, pays no good if we don't live to actually spend it.
Just keep us covered.
For fuck's sake, Mac, the pilot just let off a burst. We need to go see what the hell's going on.
I'm going to check it. You're going to keep us covered. And I will go towards Logan. Rifle up, not aimed towards him, but moving towards him. Yeah.
Let me do this. Let me do Mac, and then let me come back to Tara on potentially a roll here. Kind of. So, Logan, you fired. Area's kind of cleared. Mac, you've come up behind Logan. It's hard to see into the room. It's not well lit, and the gunfire seems to have even dimmed the screens. Are you going to pull the doors open to check? Mac, Logan, what do you want to do? I think you're both standing there. There's a moment where you're like, if we want to find out what that was, we have to go in that room.
Yeah, that's a big fucking if. I'm thinking, can we close the fucking door?
Yeah, that's my thought as well. I keep my rifle trained on that door crack, and yes, good. Can you close it? We only have one survivor to look for, and he isn't in there.
Not anymore.
Logan, you want to make an engineering roll to get this door shut?
Yeah. That's a 10.
Okay. Yeah, you will absolutely. You'll get this thing. You'll do a little bypass, push the thing, and do an emergency battery thing on it, and that door will close up completely. Even be able to turn it so it's locked. Sound fair?
Yeah.
Tara.
I mean, I'm not looking up.
Yes.
The door's locked. We're safe.
Tara, from the south, where the door that you and Mac were headed to, you will start to hear a sound, like something scraping against the other side of that door. What do you do?
Mac, I think we've got more company. I don't think we should say hello. You can send me back to prison after this job, whatever. I don't give a shit. I just want out of here alive. And Mac, gotta be honest. You're not looking out for us. You're not looking out for the crew at this point. You're looking out for a paycheck.
Yeah, I would go just ignore all these things that Tara are saying, other than that she's hearing something. So Logan, keep watching the doors, and I go up to Tara. You heard something?
Yeah, it's on the other side of this door. I say we leave the door closed and just go that way, shipwards. And I kind of gesture over my shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
Wyatt, come running in. You've seen this scene. You see them, with that big, heavy, boxy rifle out. Seen Logan slam shut that door off to the east. See Mac move back over to where Tara is, and then I think that's when your vision probably catches the room.
Yep.
Why don't you make that pressure roll for me?
You can tell me if this is against the spirit of the game, and if it's so, that's fine. But I would like to volunteer fail this roll.
You may absolutely do that. I will give you a +1 forward on your next roll if you take that fail on this.
Yeah, this is too similar to the one that sticks in Wyatt's mind.
Yeah.
And so
the thing that gets you is it looks a lot like that, but somebody clearly did this.
Don't like that.
Mac, you're at that door.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you make a perception roll to kind of gauge what's going on? How does that sound?
Sure. My perception would be a +4. Get a 9.
So it sounds like there's something, guess roughly human sized, scraping against the other side of the door. The thing that gets you is that you know what the sound of metal on metal sounds like, and it's not that. It almost sounds like bone on metal. And it's kind of scraping like it's trying to find a way to open the door, but it can't quite.
Yeah. Mason, you're going to open the door as little as you can, and I will take care of whatever that is. And I will take like a firing position, like 2 feet back from the door at most, and just aim at the where the crack will be.
I am going to look around to see if I can see anything that I can use as a wedge to stop the door from opening if whatever's on the other side pushes.
Oh, interesting. I think that feels like kind of in the let's put that in the education bracket.
Okay.
Kind of figure out something to do that with. Do you want to make a roll?
Is this a game in which people can assist? Because there's 3 of us in this room.
Are you calling out for somebody to help you find a wedge?
Or something that, yeah, I mean, I don't see why not. I mean, Wyatt's here, Logan's here, Mac's set up in a firing position.
So Logan, Wyatt, Tara calls out for you to help find a wedge of some kind.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe on the way there, I just like catch the look in Wyatt's eye, and I like, eyes up, Wyatt, come on. And that's mostly to get him out of this room, even if it's further into danger. So yeah, I will. Maybe there's like a folding table or chair from the rec room that we can use as a wedge,
Yeah.
or some kind of makeshift barricade.
In this case, since you're assisting, let's use your engineering with Tara giving you a +1. Does that seem fair,
Okay.
Tara?
Works for me.
Okay.
Wyatt is trying very hard not to stare at a severed foot that is looking increasingly wedge-shaped to him.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
12
Oh yeah,
on the
you've got
barricade.
this set. You know where to put this to get it set. So at most that's going to come open like, you know, uh, 30 centimeters or just like not big, like 10 centimeters, sorry. Wide enough for gunfire without blowback. And you all will stand by. You'll hit the thing, and the door will open. And Mac, do you just start firing as soon as it opens, or do you want to see what this thing is?
I'm gonna fire right away.
Okay.
For whatever, for various reasons, but yeah.
Door comes open and just
Yeah.
let's have you make a ranged roll.
Is also +4. I roll a 1, so that's bad. I get a 5.
So you're too far back. You said not far back. And when that opens, this thing is crouched, like you're like aiming for center mass, and we will fire that off, and this arm distended longer than it ought to be, with like you can see the muscles are kind of on the outside in places, and there's a bit of like a bone coming out of the fingertips and out at weird angles, like fractures there. And it's all the skin is the color of old bruises, green and purple. And it swings its hand in and it hits your rifle and it sends your rifle flying. And it is pushing through. You will see this skull start to shove itself through that gap, but it's having a hell of a time because you've kept this thing so narrow. You realize that part of the reason it's getting through is because it doesn't have like a jaw. The jaw is missing, but there's this tongue kind of made of bone on this humanoid face. Would everybody please make another pressure roll?
I'd like to just fail that.
I'll give you a +1 forward. So if you fail it, increase your pressure level by 1.
I got an 8.
I got a 7. What's the difficulty?
10.
10. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I failed.
Okay. So once your pressure level is at 2 or more, I need you to now roll a d6. So Tara, could you roll me a d6? You're fine. You rolled a 3. Matt, could you roll me a d6?
A 6? That's good, right? High
That's
is
great.
good.
That's exactly what you want. You don't want to roll because your pressure level is a 2. You don't want to roll below that.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, this thing is screeching, trying to push through. It can't get, its arm is kind of out. It clearly was a person. And Tara, I think that you will realize, and this is why I'm going to say that you missed your pressure roll, is that you will realize that it is wearing a prison uniform.
Okay.
Logan, we're going to start with you when we come back from our short 5-minute break.
Okay.
Logan, you see this happen. You take a step back. You know now what was strapped to that table, something like this. Mac has missed, and Mac's gun has gone flying, and this thing is trying to push through, trying to squeeze itself through. You hear the sound of it, like as it's trying to press through, you can hear the sound of the body like squishing as the organs and things shift, maybe even the crack of a bone as it breaks its own ribs to try and flow through this. What do you do?
I'm going to stick the barrel of this coil gun into this thing's. I use the term jaw advisedly, and then just, depress the trigger for far too long.
So it is trapped. So difficulty is, I would say, 1 less, so 6, but you've got a pressure level of 1, so 7. Let's go ahead and have you roll ranged.
Okay. That is a 6.
That is a 6. So what goes wrong? Is it that you miss? Is it that the bullets go like hit a soft spot? Is it that it knocks the barrel aside?
I think, I jam it in and it slips on this kind of viscous liquid and it just like slides past, and then I pull the trigger right at that moment, but then it slips, and so it just like maybe deafens this thing, but that's about it.
Yeah. But you'll fire off several rounds. Tara.
Yes.
What do you want to do?
I'm going to try to close the door on this thing.
Okay.
I don't care if it's stuck in the doorway. I'm going to try to close that door.
All right. So let's have you do that because as like you're trying to just want to push on it to try and get it to close. Let's do that as strength plus hand to hand. Does that seem fair?
Fair, but also since we have this wedge,
Mm-hmm.
is there some way that I can use the wedge as a lever to get a little bit more, strength going, or to get a little bit more force on it?
Yeah, I think the wedge is probably more what you're using to actually be able to do this at all in the first place.
Okay. All right, fair enough.
So you're rolling +5. Difficulty would be 7, but you've got 2 levels of stress, so difficulty is a 9 right now.
Yep, and I've got +1.
Yeah. So
That is 6 on the die.
nice. So what do we see happen? How is it that you get that push on it and cut this thing in twain?
It's straight up adrenaline. It's just, you see panic and terror on her face. She didn't even see what was through the door, but she just sees what's poking out on her side. And I'm just, that panic desperation.
Grab on, pull back just a tiny bit to get, and then boom, and just slam cuts this thing. And the head and the arm of this thing will be severed off and it'll just splash to the ground here. I say splash very deliberately because it is a wet sound when those hit the floor.
I will then look at Mac and say, can we fucking go now?
I need to make a roll for myself here just to see. I think I'm just gonna roll a die straight up to see. The higher I get, the more unwilling Mac is to break off the mission. I get a 3. That does help me a lot. I think.
I mean, if you're prone to being pressured, I'm answering for Mac by saying, yes, we are.
Yeah, I think Mac kind of he knows that through this door, through one more door, and we can maybe get this scientist out of here. But also, if there are more of those fucking things, then we're probably not going to make it. So, oof,
Do you pull back, Mac?
yeah, slams his hand on the door in frustration, and then points to everyone else. There were no other survivors. Clear?
Wyatt says, kind of in a unusually flat way, he says, "We don't know that."
If
Says
we are
he said
going,
he says
yeah,
he goes uh he says, "We don't know that. We always save the patient."
I'll raise my gun and say, does this help your knowledge?
oh, I need to ask exactly how leadership works.
So leadership is described pretty simply in the book. All these skills are given the most brief of description, but I'll read to you how it is described in this. Command and control others by sheer presence of will. Leadership is handy if you're looking to be an officer, or even handy when dealing with unruly civilians. So if you want to diffuse this situation and get control of it and decide which direction you want to go in versus let's just bug out, I think that's a leadership role.
Yeah, I think, yeah, I think Mac will pull his sidearm, not the stun gun, the other one, and point it at Tara. And then I'm going to roll, and then we'll see what happens. I don't know what's the difficulty for this.
So 9.
9.
Yeah,
And
because if you're level 2 on pressure plus the base
Yeah.
level 7.
well, I need a 5 or a 6. I don't get that. I get it.
So
2.
I think your instinct is we need to just get like I don't care about Terra right now. We need to get out of here,
Yeah,
right?
So I will. I pull my sidearm, and I think I like slam Solari up against the wall, and not pointing the gun at him, but holding it in his view. If we are leaving now, then there were no other survivors. Is that clear?
Solari says, you leave if you want, Mac. I'd go in there after you. I'm going in there after Ford.
Tara, you want to convince him?
I look at Mac and I say, look, the only person we really need to make sure he gets out of here is Logan. You know, there could be casualties that resulted from the mission. We could even take that thing's head and arm with us to show what we were up against.
And I think because this is kind of part of the GM script of this particular scenario, as you are fighting, I think that you will hear come over the comms. Hello, hello. You're not moving forward anymore. You need to come. You need to get me out. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Wyatt like shoves Mac off him.
Mac
Come.
does not.
You need to get me out of here. I need to get back. I need to make them pay for all of this. We have to take these back. We have to. They left me here. They're just and now we'll take my children back and they will breed. So come, open the doors. Come to where I am. Come, please.
You always drop a rock on this place from orbit. That'll stop them from breeding.
Who's holding the manager's badge right now?
I think Mac is.
Can I'm going to attempt to snatch it away.
Yeah, I think you can do that. I'm not going to stop you. Yeah.
And you'll hear this voice again. Yes, you're a doctor. You're a man of science. You know how beautiful these things are. Come, help me. We'll carry them back. Carry them back. Please open the door.
Fuck, he just went from saying he's terrified and needs to make people pay to these things are beautiful and we have to take them back. Mac, what the fuck are we doing here?
We're making sure that none of these things get off this rock. And
we're doing that for the doctor too, right?
If we leave now, then someone else might get a signal. We need to clear this up. At least take care of this.
Look, just fucking launch the dropship at it from orbit.
Our ship is not armed because this was supposed to be a milk run. But if we go to engineering, which is right around the corner, maybe we can set this place to blow to kingdom fucking come.
Like reactor short down or overload or something?
Yeah.
I like that plan.
That's a better plan than getting that doctor.
What are you doing now that you're hearing the mad call of this infective doctor and this reactor like, what's your turn now?
Yeah, at that latest statement from over the comm or the speaker, like that was definitely, you saw quite a change in Wyatt's attitude, his resolve. And so at this latest discussion about the reactor, he just does kind of start to shrug, and he holds the badge in two fingers and holds it out to Mac.
Yeah, Mac takes it, and I think we'll because this was the south door, all of this, right?
Yep.
So point to the west door. We haven't heard anything there. We can get to engineering through there as well.
Absolutely.
Mac, there's one other thing.
What?
I think we need to seriously consider whether anyone at this facility is innocent, including the civilian we have on the dropship right now.
We don't need to sort that out ourselves. If she's just an office manager, then it's unlikely that she can replicate whatever the fuck they got up to here.
You think there was anybody who was just anything at this facility?
We'll talk about that later. We need to fix this first.
So I imagine there's a dash to that west door. You will yank that open, walk in. If anything, the dorms here are worse than the common area. You just have to walk through this. There's no more pressure roll because you've already seen this horror. But I think you'll see like where people desperately try to makeshift some kind of cover with no success. You'll get to that door to engineering, and it is labeled that, and it is locked because the base is in shutdown. So you're going to need to roll to get that open in a timely manner.
Engineering, I guess.
That seems right to me.
Yeah. Okay. That's a 7. Sorry, so I got 1 pressure, so that is what, a partial or?
So that's right on. So I think that you will get this open. It takes a bit like longer than you'd like. But you will get it open, and there is the room. You see the control panels. You'll see the thing for the power core. Like there's actually like a thing you have to pull it up out of the ground. There's like a set of handles that have to be lifted up to get at the access thing. But I think it is the thing dropping down from the ceiling on you that blocks your vision there, Logan. And as you get this door open, you're like, okay, and step, because this is your element a little bit more. And this thing falls on you, and it's wet against you. It's another one of these things. It looks different than the other one, more of its organs on the outside of its body. And it is grabbing onto you like it's going to try and like run off with you for maybe food for later or something. So, Tara, what do you do when you see this thing drop down on Logan?
I'm just going to shoot. Pure reaction.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that's a great idea. So difficulty is a 9.
And so I'm using agility
plus
range.
Yeah,
Okay. And this is a difficulty of 9, right?
it is.
Which means I need to roll a 6 to
Yes.
succeed.
Yes.
That is not what I rolled.
Logan, would you please roll me a d6?
Sure thing. Let me just a straight d6.
Yeah.
A
So
3.
the bullets don't hit your armor. Tara, would you roll me a d6? Two. So, Logan, you take 2 points of damage as Tara puts some rounds in you.
Do I at least manage to put some rounds in whatever fell on Logan?
Not with the roll you made.
God damn
They
it.
were all tangled up, and you fired, and you'll hear Logan cry out. Logan,
Shit!
roll me a die. Just this. I don't know. I would call this an infection die, but I'm not going to.
You would, but that would be cruel.
Yes. Look at
6.
you, all good. Mac, what do you do?
I'm very conscious that Logan is our pilot. I am going to slam my rifle into this thing and try to like hit it hard enough that it will lose its grip on Logan.
Absolutely. So difficulty is a 9. Roll with strength and melee. Wyatt, what are you doing? Are you helping Mac, or are you trying to get Logan free? Are you trying to do med pack? What do you think you're doing?
Is Logan still pretty tangled up in a
Yes.
fight, or is it going toward Mac now?
No, it's Logan is still tangled up. Mac is moving over to try and smack it to pull them apart.
Okay, so yeah, if like my primary thing would be to try to drag Logan away,
Yeah.
but
So
if
we'll
Logan is
give-
still tangled
yeah.
up, then
We'll give Mac another +1 from your assist then.
okay.
Excellent. I get a 10.
Look at you.
Yeah.
You smack
Look
this
at us.
thing,
Teamwork.
hit it, knock it off of a Logan. Wyatt can pull it away. Tara, you can get a clean shot. Tell me how you drop this thing. Is it a center mass shot? Is it just opening up full? Is it headshot? Like, what do you do?
I just pull the trigger and hold it down. And I think you just see like parts and limbs and organs flying.
And you can absolutely do that. Dr. Wyatt, would you like to try and heal Logan from unconsciousness?
For
Your
sure.
engineer.
Yeah, this is immediately down there, like pulling open armor, like pulling out a med pack from a vest mount.
Mm-hmm.
And
so the med pack will do one strength heal, and you can roll to see if you do, can get him up another point.
all right, so I'm education plus medicine and pressure on the difficulty.
Yep. So you need
Okay.
8.
All right, and I'm at a +4.
There you go.
Right on the 8.
Yeah. I think that you have to use a second med pack to do it. That's the partial success. Does that seem fair?
Yeah. Yeah.
Logan, what's your reaction to all this? This thing is painting the wall behind you. Wyatt has hit you with the med packs. You hear the click, click, click of Tara's gun.
Yeah.
Empty.
I'm gonna curse out Tara for shooting me, and I'm gonna curse out Wyatt for cutting my favorite T-shirt up. Yeah. So that's my reaction. I'm gonna curse out everyone for doing this to me.
For my part, I will apologize.
It probably takes all 4 of you to grab onto the handles to haul this core thing up out. And I think at this point, you're also, I'm not even going to do the voice, but I think in the background, you're hearing the doctors going, what are you doing? What are you doing? No, 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 no. And like the sounds of him like wailing and trying to get you to stop. So you can set this to blow, Logan. I think that's not a problem. The test is more how much time you have to get out of this place before it blows. So, education plus engineering.
Okay. And I got pressure 1, so fingers crossed. So that's a 7 on my roll.
That is a 7 on your roll. I think you will hit it. You've got it. You're like, all right, and then you'll hear reactor detonation in 60 seconds. 59, 58. Mac?
Run! And just takes off.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Is there any way to manually delay the countdown?
No, not with that roll.
Okay. So there's no way that somebody could, for example, say, stay behind to hold something so that everybody else can get clear?
That thing is automated and going.
Okay.
I think we will see all of you running desperately. I want everybody to make an agility roll. This is more of a luck roll than anything. Four, I see a 3.
Total of 6.
No one rolled a 1, but Tara, I think you are last out, maybe deliberately.
Yeah,
maybe
I
not.
rolled a 4.
Yeah.
I want to make sure nothing follows us.
Yeah. I think that you are the last out. The others are maybe halfway close the distance between this place and the drop craft when this thing goes up. And I think you are lifted into the air and thrown for 3 points. Luckily, your strength is a 4. So I think you see Tara, the others of you running, and that explosion goes up. Tara is lifted, thrown, rolls, but can get up. What is 3 points of damage? Is it just burns Tara? Is it a broken arm? Is it a twisted ankle? What does that look like, you think?
Oh, I think it's a... You see me limping toward the drop craft, but one arm that's holding the rifle is at an angle that it shouldn't be, that no human bone is supposed to be at. We might have seen some bones like that in the facility, but you're not supposed to see it on someone who's still fully human and walking toward you. So, I think it's at the very least a sprained ankle, some burns, broken arm, and a whole lot of scrapes and bruises. I'm probably bleeding fairly profusely from shrapnel.
And we'll see the 4 of you load up into the craft and kick it hard to hit orbit ASAP. And that's where we're going to stop for today. We'll take up next time with another short mission with a little bit different dynamic, but that's what we're going to take up. Does that seem fair for everybody? I would like to do a quick stars wishes, thoughts generally here to wrap. Let's start with Mac, our team leader. Stars wishes.
Yeah, stars to everyone. There was at least a couple of times, several times, where I was thinking, oh, they should be doing this right now, and the other player just did that exact thing. Like it felt like we were very much on the same wavelength with the tropes and what the action was. So that felt really great. I like this system. It felt uncomplicated, but it gets the point across, and you focus on this pressure thing. I think that's really good. Maybe a couple of more skills than I would have, but that's a minor detail. I don't think that's not a huge thing. Really enjoyed this mission. You did a great job with keeping us on track and keeping things moving, and yeah, really gross in the good way. So yeah.
Awesome. Logan.
Yeah, I mean, Lowell, I loved the ickiness of this whole kind of last half of the session, and also this, let's call it over enthusiastic scientist, was just chef's kiss for me. And for the rest of my crew, yeah, some great kind of character defining moments. Let's say, I know it's only a two-shot, but like, I think I love the kind of, I gotta save these people from Wyatt, and I gotta get out of this shithole from Tara, and this, I'm doing my mission no matter what, from Mac. So yeah, all good stuff all around.
Awesome. Matt, sorry, back to Wyatt.
Yeah, I am loving the party dynamic on this. Like I'm glad it kind of went this way. Like we had a lot to decide, and I like Holden as a commander trying to like keep these people together, like just try to make this work, and there's some wildly divergent motivations.
Yes.
Going on here, but I really appreciate, particularly with Puckett, like I like the play. I like that we were able to kind of work that play in there, and I was hoping it wasn't disruptive, and I don't think it was.
Mm-mm.
And it was fun. It was an interesting thing to play at. Yeah, game wise, I think it's fine. I don't, not a lot of feedback, I think, on the game.
Yeah.
I kind of see the intent in like the building, I mean the pressure, right? It's right in the name, but the sort of entering the spiral. I guess I expected more, but maybe that's too fast, for the length of time we were playing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
there's definitely episodes that once we kind of get to higher pressure, that we get like more permanent or at least temporary conditions and things. So yeah,
gotcha.
there's but yeah, we didn't necessarily hit on that. I'd be very curious because I haven't played Mothership, or even read it, how much this is like that. That's the only other game I can imagine, that kind of simple space horror thing. And Tara.
Love the session. A lot of fun. Andish, I loved how you kept rolling dice to see how Holden would react, just to randomize it. That may have been my favorite thing about the session, other than Lowell saying, roll me a die, which is seriously Lowell, I think I've had characters die in your sessions before. Roll me a die is like the most ominous thing you have said in a session of yours that I've been in, especially in the context and everything. It's like, roll me a die. And it's like, that's way too close to death.
Oh, yeah.
So, huge stars for just that one line. Donna, I'm glad that Logan kind of maybe understood where Tara was coming from about on all that, but she'll buy you a bottle of something good to apologize, because that's what one does when one shoots someone that they shouldn't shoot, provided that person survives. But and Rob, I loved that flatness. It was almost like a trauma response from the doctor, where it's like, no, we save everybody, like just flat, like almost like you just kind of went blank and went straight into PTSD mode. So, and then to have both Mac and I basically saying, with weapons in hand and with intent, no, there's no one left alive here, right? Nudge, nudge, wink, wink, bang, bang. That was a whole lot of fun. So, I gotta say, I think the pressure mechanic may be a little too harsh.
It's pretty harsh.
It's Alien gives you less harshness.
Mhm.
And Mothership, it's been a long time since I played it, but Mothership seemed less harsh. But also Mothership is very much a play to lose kind of thing,
Yeah.
or at least as a one shot it is. So, given that this is a two shot, maybe play to lose is what we should be aiming for here. Maybe that severity and harshness is what we should be leaning into. But for long-term play, it feels overly punitive.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. It's interesting to see that dynamic. One of the interesting things being that one of the big changes for this version versus apparently the earlier version is the earlier version didn't have skills. It was pretty much the same, but you didn't have skills. So like that takes out something that is a kind of a boost. So interesting. Well, thank you very much. I'm looking forward to next time. We'll do another, single mission with these characters. We'll kind of change up the scenario a little bit. I've got another idea for another touchstone to play from, and awesome. Rob?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, when Puckett was talking about playing to lose, when you first described the common room scene with Wyatt's background and the kind of psychological bent of the game, I was like, yeah, 50-50 Wyatt's not just not making out of this.
Yeah. That seems fair. All right, so I am going to stop the recording.